name is Martin, welcome back to another video. Yes, we're going underground again. I'm going to give you lots of information. This is a culvert of the Moss Brook in Manchester, also known as the Moston Brook further upstream, but for the purposes of this video I'm going to call it the Moss Brook. We're about to go in here where there's a chamber and we're going to look at some fantastic Edwardian flood defences. That's where we're going, and it will open up eventually into a chamber. So you see we've got a fair bit of fast flow, well nothing to worry about too much. Stone that was possibly an original bank, and then we go to brick. Possible bridge that, or a possible end of the original culvert, and then they've just extended it. And it's bowing a bit that, to be honest with you, it's bowing a bit. Today's team, as per usual, we've got Marcus, Sparky Pants from Sheffield, the Drain Maestro. We've got Roy, and we've got a guest today, Aaron, who's come with us to see what this is all about. Is this your drain virginity being popped? He's never done this before, so he's a bit like, I'm fascinated, but shit. Anyway, let's crack on. So we've seen this sort of thing before, but it certainly took some years to create that, hasn't it? That's beautiful in there. So a bit of a manhole coming up now, obviously full of rubbish. Nice, you can't see that, but there's a nice spider's web there, massive. Let's get the light right. See where you're walking, so it's difficult, very difficult, but we've got some surface water coming in just ahead. It's been raining. When it rains, it rains. Now we've been here before, I have to admit to you. So some of you that watch the old videos may have seen this before, but we've not been in this way, and I kind of know more about it now. Right, so there's things like this on the ceiling, which we don't know were obviously original access points. That'll be very old because we're obviously definitely an access point. Okay, so where are we this week? Well, we're in Manchester and we're looking at this northeast area here. So there you go, that's for your reference. We're looking at this area here. The Moston Brook sort of does this kind of thing. Let's zoom in on this area and I'll give you more insight into what's going on. Okay, so this is the part of Manchester that we're looking at. The brook starts up here in the Failsworth area near the Rochdale Canal at the confluence of the Bower Brook and Hole Bottom Brook. So it kind of does, I've not plotted the entire route because it's difficult to plot, and for a lot of the time it is underground. Okay, so it kind of does this and it runs down here this way, let me have a look, this way, and then down here out underneath Rochdale Road and joins the River Irk down here just off Collyhurst Road. So it is a tributary of the River Irk. And just to prove that I have crawled all over this brook, here's the lower end of it where the Moss Brook meets the River Irk. That is the Irk you're looking at there. And then as we turn round, you'll see the outfall of the Moss Brook into the River Irk. And that is artificial. That would have been an industrial move, an industrial culvert, because it wouldn't have always just entered there, entered further upstream. But again, it's been tampered with, and various mills have utilised it, hence that brick outflow there. But anyway, let's crack on. Up here, it's known as the Moston Brook in this area, because this is the Moston area of Manchester. And at some point, the locals have renamed it down here as the Moss Brook, but it is the same watercourse, and it sort of does this. All right, so there you go. We're going to be interested in this area down here, and we're going to be concentrating roughly looking at some of the architecture, some of the old history around the Rochdale Road area. Some of it will be familiar to you because we have looked at this before. But there you go, that's the Moston and the Moss Brook, all one, and it's about 3.7 miles in length. Combined sewer overflow here, so this will lead at some point to a sewer. And you can see it's the classic basil jet egg-shaped style, self-cleaning sewer. So we'll go in, take a look, see how far it goes, see what it's like. Sorry about the filming, it's just awkward to film in here. You can imagine it's like walking over lots of rocks that you can't see.
It's killing him. Glad I've got gloves on.
So, not nice obviously, and there's like a mist in the air. It's horrible.
I know it is.
What we're doing.
You wanted to go in.
I know.
I've been in. It used to be leaking this.
But it's silty in here. No. I'm saying it's not, sorry, I meant it's not good.
I know what you meant, you're not honest.
Right.
It's great, isn't it? Lovely. Isn't it?
You see the boys are with me? Jesus, it's horrible.
I know it is.
What are we doing?
You wanted to go in.
I know. Maybe I should have waited.
The things we do, eh?
The things I do for you while you sit at home watching on your...
It won't collapse.
It's been here for years.
Oh, right, you can't get into the old chamber now, can you?
So, up ahead
no, it's
there,
blocked off.
Is it?
There's a blockage. Almost not worth going any further, to be honest with
What's
you.
happened? Oh, they've changed it now. Blocked off with what though?
Some pipes.
It's disused.
You see how it's just all full of debris. It's blocked, so what Roy'll do, Roy's been down here a long time ago, and he'll send us some footage of how it used to look. I'll have to just reverse out of here.
We're going to have to reverse. This is going to be a horrendous start going.
So if we would have carried on, we would have been met with this. You see there, we've got like a little dam in front of us and a chamber. This is what we've crawled up is a sewer overflow pipe. So it's only a pipe designed to carry sewage water in times of flood. Here is the chamber that we would have gone into, and we would have appeared at Arch A there that you can see just on the other side there. So there you go, it's just and you see there's the sewer, and that if that overflows and gets flooded, it goes up over the lip there, over the little wooden dam, and then down and into the Moss Brook. And then this picture here is just another angle on the chamber, but you understand where we would have come out now. Classic Victorian sewers for you.
You can go back into this manhole chamber and turn round. I've just turned round here now, yeah. Miri! What? He's opted for coming out backwards. I think your tripod's seen better days. You're making a right meal of this. Did you like that?
Tripod. Jesus.
Self-cleaning.
So you can see now as we approach a chamber. Right, I need to put my gloves on now. Now may not be able to hear me, but I might have to voice this over. But the penstock can come down. This here can flood, that's the idea. And it goes over that side, and it goes over this side here where we're going to go. And it runs down a set of stairs, and then out towards the River Urk. Okay, so we've actually got a graphic, a drawing of the chamber that we're in. Courtesy of Roy, so thanks very much for this. So, don't knock it, all mod cons. Right, so this is the chamber that we're in. Looks more complicated than what it is, probably. We've walked this way, and this is the Moss Brook. He's called it the Moston Brook, but you know they're one and the same. So the Moston Brook, or Moss Brook, runs this way, down here, underneath the penstock, and out into a tunnel, as you've seen from this view here. The whole purpose of this is for the Moss Brook to be able to overflow. So we've just climbed up here onto this wall here. You've seen us do that. We've climbed out of the actual brook itself onto this wall. If it was to overflow, so if you was to close the penstock, or the thing couldn't cope and it was to overflow, the water would go over the wall here and down these steps, and it would go over the wall here and down these steps, and it would all run this way. These two here, these two pipes are actually underneath the river bed. So the water that runs down here would run down the two pipes out here, join the water running here, down these steps, into the diversion tunnel that eventually runs down to the River Urk. So that's how it works. So they probably could have closed the penstock off to the tunnel here, and then diverted the whole thing a different way to the River Urk, or in times of flood it could just overflow either side, run underneath here, run down here, and then that way. Now, there you go, that's an explanation of the chamber. Here in the corner we've got a little archway to a manhole shaft, and the manhole shaft we have to climb up it, and it goes this way, and it eventually comes over here, and we can stand above the penstock and look at the penstock control. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to go in here. Not the most pleasant environment to crop, but climb, but
I've seen you here. Have you seen you here, you?
Whatever. Smells very earthy. Very earthy. Now, one thing people said to me in these places is, does it smell? No, it's not a sewer. This is a culvert. There's some sewer overflows that feed into this, but they don't flow very often, so it smells just earthy, and it's essentially just stream water. So I've never been down here. I mean, look at it. Look at the way the brickwork meets up there. Look at the way the brickwork meets. Amazing. Some old timbers there. If we go down here, this is the penstock control. Look at that. And as much as we think it's not used very often, it looks in pretty good nick. It looks like it would move that if you use those handles. Okay, so this would take two people to wind it. There's a handle there. And obviously, as always, we're not going to mess with it. We're not going to touch it. Totally respectful. We're just here to look at it, to splendour at it. We would not mess with infrastructure like this, because you've seen what it does and you just wouldn't want to mess with this. And for our own safety, we don't want to mess with it. So there you go, control for Penstock 37 there. Beautiful little chamber. I've seen this before, pictures, but never actually been here. It's fantastic.
Like the shaft. Nice and steady.
Okay, so we've done the manhole shaft. What we're going to do now is walk down these steps here. Down the steps, you'll probably see these two pipes just coming out. And we're going to go down these steps here, and take a look at part of this tunnel that runs down to the River Irk. I will show where it eventually outflows to the Irk, but we're not going to go all the way because that was in a separate video. So that's what we're doing, down the steps, down a second set of steps, and towards the tunnel that leads to the Irk.
There you go, see?
And these are the two pipes that run underneath the bed of the moss brook. These drain the far side chamber that I told you about, so it overflows on the other side, runs underneath those two pipes and down these stairs, and this is the way it goes if they need to divert it.
So that's where we've come from, dodgy steps, and then when people come they leave things here. The iron staining is fantastic. And we're now heading down towards a split, or what would have been a split, and then further down the river where the boys really do some photography. Yeah, that was originally a manhole. So what we think this is bricked up this part, and we think it was going to be some kind of other culvert flood control thing, and obviously that's where we've just come from. The drain fairy is still here, she's been here a while. She was here last time I came. Bless her. You can see that's just a brick. I don't know if there's anything behind that or not. And then of course we've got the obviously you've always got to be prepared for gas. So can you put your light down a little bit? Down a bit. There you go, you've got the chandelier there.
Just in case we have guests, really, I suppose.
So this tunnel goes on, and it's about a 25-minute walk down to the River Irk, and this obviously was where the moss brook would have been diverted to. Out on the River Irk, where does it come out? Well, here you can just see in the corner there to the right a little tunnel peeping out. I'm going to show you that tunnel close up. This is all from a previous video that we did, but this is where, when diverted, the moss brook comes out of that tunnel there, and that's what we've just been stood looking at. So there you go, a diversion for the moss brook, but why? Okay, so that's the diversion tunnel done. We're going to come back up the steps now, and here you'll see us facing the two pipes that run underneath the riverbed of the moss brook. And like I say, some bright spark decides that we're going to crawl through here to this side, and you'll see this set of steps, overflow steps, and we're going to come up here eventually, end up on this side of the moss brook, and then if we walk down here we can walk across the rickety bridge in front of the Penstock, and we're back here. And of course there's our two pipes there that just join from the other side of the overflow chamber. As I look down it, and some bright spark decided we were going to go through and take a look. Roy?
And Roy will get here. Yeah. This is the other side of the weir, and if I remember rightly, we now have to go over the rickety bridge. Now we're going to go over the rickety bridge, Bridge of Death. Now when I came 4 years ago it was alright, As long as you do that, what he's doing.
Oh no.
Go around to the side if you want. Just don't walk in the middle. The counterweights on the Penstock as well there. Incredible. Right, so not ideal, but I think we stay and walk on the struts. Not too bad. Definitely not walk in the middle. Yeah, and that's going a bit bad. Obviously no one's ever maintained this in years. Well, there you go, that's the rickety bridge that we came across last time. So the only thing left to do now is to go underneath the Penstock and look further downstream. Obviously Roy and Marcus have just been underneath taking a look. We did it in twos in case the Penstock just happened to come down. There was somebody on the other side that could get to safety. So let's go and take a look a little bit further downstream. And I've got a lot of things to show you now. This is interesting. Right, so this goes on a bit. And we had to walk and walk, and it's getting a bit deeper, and you can see it's a bit smaller. Eventually on the left hand side here we get to another CSO, combined sewer overflow. We're not allowed to go in there, that's classed as infrastructure. It's modern day sewer, so all I can show you that view there coming back into the Moss Brook. So there you go, and this carries on now down underneath Rochdale Road, and it comes out near Eggington Street, which I'm going to show you soon. Where does it come out? I'm going to show you now where this comes out. There you go. Comes out in the middle of a wall underneath Rochdale Road in what I can only describe as a kind of a viaduct. You can see it's quite a modest flow when you've got to look at it from a distance because it's very difficult to get to. And there you go. There's a picture of it close up when I did actually go down there. Now, the ideal situation is we come to we walk all the way down, we stand in that circle there and we take a photo and we wave at you. The difficulty is the following. That tunnel in there, behind that, where the water comes out, is at a downwards trajectory. It's quite slippy, and if you were to slip out of there, you would drop about, not that far, you would drop about 6 foot, 7 foot, onto some very, very harsh rocks. It's the original riverbed of the Moss Brook there, and you probably break an arm or a leg. So we can't really go down and stand at the edge where the Moss Brook comes out and look out, because if we slipped off, we'd be breaking arms and legs. We'd have to be roped on or roped and anchored to something. Here's a wide-angle photograph that Roy took many moons ago. The place hasn't really changed. And you'll see that Rochdale Road is up on a kind of a viaduct, if you like. And this spans what would have been the original valley of the Moss Brook at this point. You'll see there's all sorts of remains of buildings round here. Let's take a look at what we're looking at. Okay, so what was going on downstream that required such a big effort in flood defences, flood control, and the ability to divert the Moss Brook. We're going to use Eggington Street as a reference. Here's the modern day map. Let's just go to 3D because it's just nice, isn't it? There's Eggington Street there, okay? And you've got Rochdale Road. This section of Rochdale Road on a viaduct, you wouldn't believe it, to be honest with you, because if you drove down here, you wouldn't realise you're on a viaduct. This is a deep, deep valley. Now I've shown you a gap through the fence there where the Moss Brook comes out in the wall. In order to understand why you would put in such a complex flood defence mechanism, I need to show you the industry that was in this area. Looking at it now, you would not think anything of this area at all. But clock Fix George Street, clock Eggington Street. Let's just go back to the 2D model there. And we're looking at this little corner here between Rochdale Road and Eggington Street. Let me go to the old maps. Okay, old maps. There's Rochdale Road, there's Eggington Street.
and we're looking at this corner, don't forget. Let's zoom into that corner. There's Fitzgeorge Street, by the way. That's Fitzgeorge Street. So if we look at this corner, just look at this. This deep valley was full of works and factories. So there's the Moss Brook just peeping out here. There was some complex sluice and utilisation of the brook here, because if you look at this here and you look at these circles here, they're obviously doing something because they needed the water. Factories here with chimneys, a tarpaulin works. When's this map from? 1840s, 1890s. I would guess 1840s because I don't think the railway's on it. Bridge mill. All right. Now I'm going to show you some footage of down here when I went down here. I precariously went down here and managed to get along here. The remains of all this are still there. It's incredible. I called it the land that time forgot in a video quite a while ago. So here it is. This is about 2018, 2019. Just where the Moss Brook comes out, you can see, look, the foundations there of old buildings. The walls are still there. And I've got some black and white photos to show you down here in a bit. Incredible what's left. They've just done a basic demolition job, really. But you see, if you fell there, you'd probably break your back, probably. Anyway, look at that. Wall, windows, all windows still there. It's incredible the what is left of these old mills that were down there. Let me show you this black and white footage. Okay, so these are incredibly rare pictures of down in that little valley at Bridge Mill and the tarpaulin works. You can see the sluice mechanisms there and the way there's water being utilised. This picture here is showing that's in the viaduct of Rochdale Road. So there were recesses where there was kind of like spaces for work. There's another picture here. Look at this. There's the outfall in the background that is normally up in the wall. But then there's another drop down on the wall. So you can see this was a complex thing. I can't fathom how it all ran. It was very difficult for me to work out how this all ran. But what we're building to is that the brook is being utilised. When it comes out of that hole in the wall, it's then further utilised for all these buildings and factories. And now you can see why there may be a need to control it in times of flood. Let's just crack on with the maps. Those pictures are unbelievable, by the way. I will never work out exactly what was going on. I wish I could go down there. But let's crack on with the maps. The Moss Brook seems fairly innocuous. It's not too much of a big river. It's only a small brook. Could it do any harm? Well, I'm going to address that as well, so stay with me. Let's just zoom out a little bit. And the brook disappears now into another culvert that we did a video on. We went into this culvert here and it goes all the way down here. Now I lose it now. You'll see now there's the Moss Brook Works, which it seems to go underneath. It goes underneath all these streets here, Buckingham Street, Windsor Street, Brydenville Street, and it reappears here. So it's been underneath the works, and so it's done this all underneath here, from here. So if this brook floods, there's quite a bit of damage it can do. Brook reappears here, just the railway's here now, so this is pre-railway. The brook reappears here and it runs down here and it joins the River Irk. That is the River Irk. This entire area has been studied and studied and studied by me in many, many videos. Moss Brook Works, by the way, has long since gone, and these streets here, you almost couldn't imagine that they were there, because let's flick back to the modern day maps. That's the area we're looking at. Slightly different angle on it, but there's Fitzgeorge Street. Yeah, so those streets were here. So you had Brydenville, Windsor, Buckingham Street, and all the industry was down here. And then you had the Moss Brook Works was down sort of this area here. Absolutely incredible when you look at it now. Absolutely incredible when you compare with how it used to be. So there you go. So a lot of damage it can do. Now, regarding the damage and regarding flooding, let's take a look at this. So we've seen the industry that was downstream of where we are in the Moss Brook. A reasonable brook, relatively small flow, So back to the crux of the video. Why bother putting in that big penstock, the chamber, the overflows, and why bother trying to divert it in cases of flood? Well, the next pictures I'm going to let speak for themselves. They're courtesy of Roy, taken a few years ago. He had the presence of mind to video this when it was happening. This is why the flood defences are in place, and thank you, Roy. Whoa, look at that. I think those two clips demonstrate everything we've been talking about. That's why there's a penstock. That's why there's an alternative route for the brook to go. Unbelievable. Anyway, to recap, we've been underneath the penstock. We're now walking back towards the chamber.
So we've approached back now underneath penstock 37. And we're back with the guys. Right, so there you go. Nice bit of you wouldn't think all that was just inside that arch. Nice bit of Edwardian flood control. I say Edwardian because some of those pictures are from the turn of the century, early 1900s, maybe borderline Victorian Edwardian. Fantastic. Marcus?
Good.
Liked it?
Good trade.
Champion.
Roy's been before. Aaron? Did you like it? Your first...
Really good.
Yeah, so he's broke his duck there. Anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. The Moss Brook again. The Moss Brook, the brook that keeps on giving. Sorry there was no brew. We didn't have James, so if he's not here to make the brew, we ain't having a brew. I'm not doing it. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.